welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren from Lauren and the Books. I hope you're all very, very well on this here Sunday. She's had her roots done, hasn't she? Today's video, it's a book haul. It's a book and a library haul because I've got a few books that I've bought secondhand, been sent from the publisher, one that David's dad's given me, and then I've got a whole big bag of library reservations that came in yesterday, and I thought, I'll show you them here, why not? Should we start with the library reservations? Let's start with the library reservations. So, exciting things. What I love to do, and I'm sure if you're a library reservationer like I am, reserver, when I watch BookTube, or, when I watch BookTube, I keep my library page open and I search for the books that are being discussed, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll reserve that, oh yeah, that'd be nice. But I've also got a few on here that have come in recently that I put little reservations on because I saw that they were coming soon. So that means I've got literal brand new books that have not been spoken by anyone at the library. I love the library. Right, the first two books are books that were on the Women's Prize long list. And then I decided that I probably haven't had the bestest experience with the Women's Prize long list this year. I've only loved one and I've sort of hated a few. I liked one, so I thought, and I only hadn't read one that was on the shortlist. So I thought, well, I'll read that last one that I haven't read on the shortlist. Here it is, Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. Look at that, that's always an enemy of mine though when I see that, because that means I've got to get that read in 2 weeks. When's it due back? 31st of May. Crack on with it, Lauren. So that's, yeah, Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. I don't know how I'm going to get on with it. It's the last one on the shortlist I haven't read. We'll see how we go. And then the other one was one that I did have a reservation on because it was on the long list, but I actually think I want to give this a go because I've heard quite good things, and that's The Paper Palace. I had a reservation on the other one, as on the hardback copy, which came and went because that also happens to me. Get books in from the library, don't get a chance to read them, have to send them back. And then when I put a reservation on this, I was #1 for ages and I couldn't work out why, and it's because I've reserved the paperback copy. So that's come out recently, so I will also read that at some point. That is also, it hasn't got a 2-week wait sticker on it, but it's also a 2-week waiter. Right, then the other ones I've got Viola Davis's memoir, Finding Me. Viola Davis, you know her from Hollywood. And this says here, in a book you will meet a little girl named Viola who ran from her past until she made a life-changing decision to stop running forever. This is my story from a crumbling apartment in Central Falls, Rhode Island, to the stage in New York City and beyond. This is the path I took to finding my purpose, but also my voice in a world that didn't always see me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. It's also got some photos in here. Oh, lovely. Oh, I remember, yeah, I was thinking of a film that I'd watched with her in recently, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which was very troubling. How to Get Away with Murder, she's in that too, so yeah. Very much looking forward to reading that. Then I've got People Person, Hurrah, by Candice Carty-Williams. This is Candice Carty-Williams' new book. I love Queenie. You know I love Queenie. It's one of my favourite books. Probably one of my favourite books ever, you know, though, guys. And this is the new one. I've heard her be interviewed about it a lot, and I'm very excited. And this is about a woman and her half-siblings. Dimple Pennington knew of her half-siblings, but she didn't really know them. 5 people who don't have anything in common except for faint memories of being driven through Brixton in their dad's gold Jeep. And that's an image, isn't it? A gold Jeep. And some pretty complex abandonment issues. So yeah, it also sounds like similar to Queenie in that Dimple has bigger things to think about. She's 30 and her life isn't really going anywhere. An aspiring lifestyle influencer with a terrible and wayward boyfriend, Dimple's life has shrunk to the size of a phone screen, and despite a small but loyal following, she's never felt more alone. It sounds like it's going to be fucking brilliant. I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah. Luckily, that hasn't got a 2-week wait on it. I've got until the 7th of June to read that. I've also got it out from, I also got it on Audible as well. So if I end up reading it, I might return the Audible, but there we go. Then I've got this, which I've got this a bit premature actually, because I've got to listen to some of her. So this is Ali Smith's companion piece. So you'll know she did the seasonal quartet of each book from each season. I've just listened to Spring, which I'll be talking about in my wrap up, which I didn't think I'd listened to before. And then, but right at the end, I was like, oh, this bit's really familiar. And I had read it. I thought I owned the book. I do own the bloody book. I probably read it. But yeah, this is companion piece. So after summer, this is the last bit. And I don't know what's going to happen if it's going to pull it all together. It's much thinner than the other ones. It's also this lovely purple. These books are published so beautifully, aren't they? So, so beautifully. So there we go. So that might be a bit soon, if I'm being honest. Then I've got Lucy Worsley, who's a historian who I've been getting very involved with her stuff on sort of like Henry VIII's wives recently. She's also done a book called Jane Austen at Home, a biography, and you'll know that I'm doing June Austen, where I'm going to be reading some Jane Austen books and retellings of them. I thought this would be great, a biography of Jane Austen and her life, and this was written on the 200th anniversary of Jane Austen's death. And it says, historian Lucy Wolseley leads us into the rooms for which our best loved novelist quietly changed the world. And it's full of sort of pictures and things like that. Oh, it does look a bit dense though, you know, guys. Jane does, however, give us perfect insight into the condition of her being not quite pretty, and perhaps that was the true state of things for her. But yeah, lovely, another lovely published one as well. Then I've got, which I saw on Mercedes' channel, I think I might even have seen it last year. This is a, I might get David to read this as well. We're hoping to go for a walk this weekend, and if we can sit somewhere and have a little picnic, I think he might enjoy reading this. This is George Takei. You know George Takei from Star Trek. This is They Called Us Enemy, and this is a graphic memoir of George's life, of revisiting his childhood in American concentration camps as one of the 120,000 Japanese Americans imprisoned by the US government during World War II. Experience the forces that shaped an American icon and America itself in this gripping tale of courage, country, loyalty and love. Yeah, so, and the it's all in black and white. The artwork looks like sort of simplistic, how I like it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that very much. And then the last one I've got from the library, I can't remember why I've got this out. Maybe it was Waterstone's Book of the Month. This is House of Music, Raising the Canamasons by Kadiatu Canamason. And this is a memoir told from a family of 7 siblings who taught at a state comprehensive in Nottingham, took the world of classical music by storm, winning numerous awards along the way and playing to audiences of millions around the globe, with a new chapter of on the House of Music in lockdown, COVID, Black Lives Matter and crisis in the arts. So yeah, very much looking forward to reading that as well. So those are the books I've got out from the library. Have to find a place for them to live at some point. Pop my bag back. These are the ones, all right, let's start with the one David's dad gave me. So David's dad has given me his copy of The Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. I've got this out from the library on audio and in form before and just never got around to it. I really want to read it. David and I read Never Let Me Go earlier this year. We read it aloud to one another, and I've never read Remains of the Day, and I'd really like to, and I always hear that the book's really good and the film is amazing and things like that. It's about a butler, isn't it, going on his summer holidays? Is that what it's about? But I like Kazuo Ishiguro's writing, so I was really delighted when David's dad was on holiday and texted me and said, I've just finished reading Remains of the Day, do you want it? And I texted him back and said, oh yes please, because that will save me having to keep getting it out from the library, not reading it if I've got it on my person. And he'd already put it on like the when you're in a hotel on holiday where you give you books and somebody else can pick it up, and he had to go back and get it. So thank you for going back and getting that, but yeah, I'll be reading that at some point. Then I've got 3 books that I bought from, well, 2 from the, 1 from the charity desk at work and 2 from Cancer Research. The first one is 3 Hours by Rosamund Lupton, which is another one of those books that I got out from the library. I got out from the library earlier this year. I think this was on Emma from Drinking by My Shelf's Best Books of last year, and that's why I got it out from the library. I didn't get around to reading it, but I really like the sound of it, and now I own my own copy for a mere 50p. So this is set in rural Somerset in the middle of a blizzard, and there is a school is under siege, and this happens over the process of 3 hours, and this whole book is set over 3 hours, which I think sounds really intense and really sort of, I like that sort of like timeline thing that is all going to happen in this time. And I wonder if I was to sit and read it, if it was to take me 3 hours now, I think it would take me longer. But yeah, it sounds like a really good and very gripping story, so looking forward to reading that. Then I've got 2 that I got from the Cancer Research. Cancer Research, by the way, if you're looking for second-hand books, they're so good. Their books are 2 for £1, and I think it varies over different stores. I think they're always 2 for £1, but I think sometimes they don't include the hardbacks, but in the store that I went to, they did. So I got a hardback cookbook, and I got a book that I'd wanted for a really long time. So the book that I really wanted for a really long time was Diary of a Young Naturalist by Dara McNulty. And this is a non-fiction book about Dara McNulty. And it is it's exploring a natural world through Dara's eyes, who's an autistic teenager coping with the uprooting of his home, school and his mental health while pursuing his life as a conservationist and environmentalist activist. And yeah, I found out about it this year because I put a reservation on it to read it for the Irish Readathon, and I just didn't get it. It didn't come in on time. It's set over seasons, which I really love. It's set in sort of like diarised sections. There's pictures of nature. Look, here he is, his diary with a little butterfly. I'm really looking forward to reading it. I think I might, this is classic me, I might hang on to it to read for the Irish Readathon next year. Yeah, I think I might do. But that was, so yeah, I got that. And I also, so this was £1, these two together. So like I said, they're two for £1. And this is Deliciously Ella, every day. So my sister and my friend Emma absolutely bloody love Deliciously Ella. And I've never really got on with her. I remember getting a book of hers out from the library and finding it full of sort of like stuff that I wasn't able to get from the shops. However, this is her everyday book. Imagine picking this up for 50 bloody p. And I had a little flick through, and a lot more of the stuff is definitely a lot more gettable. I'm just looking at this. All of this stuff is stuff that I have. Nourishing soups, spiced lentil soups, quinoa nori rolls with avocado cream. Yes, please. Veggie paella, black bean burgers, simple sweets. I could do with a simple sweet right now. Cinnamon coconut popcorn. I would like that. I love popcorn, but it really gives me bad chest pains and makes me not able to sleep. But yeah, so a cookbook that I got, which was wonderful. Then I've got books that have been sent to me by the publishers. I was going to say the publishers then. The first one is Emma Donohue's new book. Exciting. Emma Donohue, writer of Room, writer of, oh, what was that lovely one that I loved so much? Pull of the Stars. This is her new book, Haven. It is out in August this year. Three men vow to leave the world behind them. They set out in a small boat for an island their leader is seen in a dream, with only faith to guide them. What they find is the extraordinary island now known as Skellig Michael. Haven, Emma Donohue's gripping and moving new novel, has her trademark psychological intensity, but this story is like nothing she has ever written before. In 7th century Ireland, a scholar and priest called Art has a dream telling him to leave the sinful world behind. Taking 2 monks, young Trian and old Cormac, he rows down the River Shannon in search of an isolated spot in which to find a monastery. Found a monastery. Drifting out into the Atlantic, the three men find an impossible steep bare island inhabited by tens of thousands of birds and claim it for God. In such a place, what will survivor mean? That sounds bloody brilliant, doesn't it? So yeah, like I said, that's out in August 2022. And Book Break sent that to me, and Emma from Book Break emailed and said, we're sending you this. Would you like one of Emma Donohue's back catalogue? And I was like, yes, please. As I said, I love Pull of the Stars. I've already got that up there somewhere. It's one of my favourite books, so it's on my favourite shelf. Loved Room. And I thought I'd give frog music a go. So this is set in San Francisco in 1876, as a stifling heatwave and smallpox epidemic have engulfed the city. Second epidemic book from Emma Donohue. Deep in the street, well, I think this came out before Pull of the Stars, it definitely did. Deep in the streets of Chinatown live 3 former stars of the Parisian circus. Blanche, now an exotic dancer at the House of Mirrors, her lover Arthur and his companion Ernest. When an eccentric outsider joins their little circle, secrets unravel, changing everything and leaving one of them dead. Inspired by true unsolved crime, Frog Music is a dark and compelling story of intrigue and murder. That sounds bloody brilliant too, doesn't it? It's hard when all of these books sound brilliant because you want to read all of them. Right, next up was one that Verso sent me called Bad Guys. And it's a homosexual history written by Hugh Lemmy and Ben Miller. I don't think it's that Ben Miller. No, it's not. He's a writer and researcher living in Berlin. And this is an unconventional history of homosexuality. We all remember Oscar Wilde, but who speaks for Bosie? What about those bad guys whose unexemplary lives reveal more than we might expect? Many popular histories seek to establish homosexual heroes, pioneers and martyrs, but as Hugh Lemmy and Ben Miller argue, the past is filled with queer people whose sexualities and dastardly deeds have been overlooked despite their being informative and instructive. So yeah, this sounds great, doesn't it? They bloody publish books lovely as well. I mean, that's a really intriguing front cover, isn't it? This sort of like historical figure in the bright pink. So yeah, but I also got sent with it a bookmark. So this is out on the 31st of May, so it's not out yet. These are some, it says Evil Twink Energy, some pin badges, and Bad Gays. Oh, it says Bad Gays, not Bad Guys. Bad Gays. Yeah, so there's some lovely pin badges. They feel really heavy as well. And then, she always loves a tote bag in yellow and pink. Probably my 2 favourite colours to put together. Bad Gays. So yeah, thanks Verso for that little lovely package. Very nice. They've got to go elsewhere. I don't want to put those on my bookshelves. That goes out. And then I've got American Fever, which is published by Skepta and comes out on the 18th of August. And this has, let's have a look at the press release together. A deeply compelling and funny coming-of-age novel about a teenage girl's life-changing journey from Pakistan to America and the challenges of a debilitating illness. On a year-long exchange program in rural Oregon, 16-year-old Hira must swap Kashmiri chai, yes please, for volleyball practice and understand why everyone around her seems to dislike Obama. An unforgettably witty narrator, Hira finds herself stuck between worlds. The experience is memorable for reasons both good and bad. A first kiss, new friends, racism, Islamophobia, homesickness. Along the way, Hira starts to feel increasingly unwell until she begins coughing up blood and receives a diagnosis of tuberculosis, pushing her into quarantine and turning her newly established world upside down. Doesn't that sound bloody brilliant? God, that's another one I'd love to start reading right now as well. And then the last one is published by William Collins. There you go. It's a non-fiction book entitled Enough, The Violence Against Women and How to End It by Harriet Johnson. And Harriet Johnson is a barrister. It says here, Enough lays bare the appalling status quo of abuse against women in our society, offering an irrefutable case for why change is needed in policing and justice. Most vitally, it also gives a manifesto for how to get there. So yeah, that sounds amazing too. What a bloody bunch of great books that is, isn't it? Library and other ones. Let me know if you've got your mitts on any books this month. Would love to hear. And I guess I'll see you all again soon for another booktube video. Goodbye!